Hey guys, I'm live. I know it's been a minute, but I wanted to do a little bit of a story time. Oh my gosh, y'all, bear with me because it's a lot going on here. But hey y'all, hey, I hope y'all can see me okay. I'm trying my best here. I'm trying my best, okay? This is gonna be a quick story time because my phone is charging. But hey guys, what's up? For those of you who do not know me, my name is Takima House, and I am a girl that likes to chat. I am also a professional. I am a nonprofit consultant. I'm also a 9-time published author, and I am starting a new venture in my business. A new venture in business. Not really new, but it is something that I've always done and wanted to do more of and didn't know how I could do it until recently. So I host gatherings with, right now it's women, but I am also looking to work with men as well. And we, get together and we converse about different things. I also do a lot of interactive games during that time. And it's just a space for people to come together to converse about what it is that they're going through, what it is that they are wanting to do, talking about where they may be feeling stuck, things like that. And I help give solutions to those things while also helping them navigate through things that they're going through games, conversations, specific led conversations. I hosted an in-person gathering at my home when I was in Atlanta, and it was amazing. The women that came loved it. And so I wanted to start doing them again, because I feel like people are looking for, I know I am, and I know I was, looking for more in-person gatherings, having those conversations. And I actually went to one in Atlanta, led by someone amazing that I really love and look up to. And it was so amazing, gave me so much clarity. And I had done it before while living in New York. And we're going to get to that story time. And so I hosted workshops. I worked with Holland United, and I used to do that. And I really loved it, and it's so transformational. So if you're interested in something like that, I am doing a 4-week gathering. It starts May 23rd, but I may push the date back. But you can definitely get on it now. I'm doing an introductory admission. It is, I'm trying to find the word. It is $97. However, that is for the course of over 4 weeks. So that's $24 a week, where you come and gather and chat and do all the things. And there's a lot of things that's in store. So if you're interested, the link is there. But here we go. So we are here for story time while I make salsa. So I got all my ingredients. I went to the store, got some ingredients. So here's my onion, my cilantro, my tomato, and my lime. And I'm going to tell you guys why I am not in Atlanta well, not right now. A few months ago, I was dealing with some health challenges that really made me reconsider a lot of things. And I was really going through a really tough time, and I was really struggling with what I needed to do as far as like what I needed to do for my health. And it really kind of frustrated me because I was just like, I feel like I'm being called back to New York for whatever reason. And I didn't really want to go back. I was like, there has to be what I need here in Georgia. This is where I live. This is where I lived for, 9 years. Can you guys believe that? I've been in Atlanta for 9 years. So when I felt like God was calling me to go back to New York, I was really struggling because I was like, God, why would you have me really set up shop, set up home here in Georgia if you wanted to send me back to New York? Like, that's not, it's not sounding fair, Jesus. It's not sounding fair at all. And so, one of the things I had to really think about was, you know, why is God sending me back here? Why am I having these health challenges? And is it really necessary for me to have to go all the way to another state to get the services that I need? And so I really weighed my options. And one of the things that I probably will talk about at another time is what my specific issues are. But, you know, I just wanted to kind of touch on, sometimes you have to really advocate for yourself, especially when it comes to medical issues and things like that, because the doctors can tell you what they think, but you know your body. And I think a lot of times we don't listen to our bodies enough. You know, God gave us our bodies for a reason, and he made everything function the way it needs to function in our bodies. And if there's something that's off, we need to tune in to our bodies to figure out what is going on. Ask the Holy Spirit to help you to recognize what's going on, and then make your appointments accordingly. And if we feel like we're not getting the proper care, for the love of Jesus, get a second, third, fourth, fifth opinion if you need to. You don't have to listen to the only doctor that you have, okay? So that's something that I really had to consider. So just to give a brief summary, I've dealt with, I had an iron deficiency. Did not realize that my iron deficiency was extremely low. Back in December, it was so low, it was to the point where I almost needed a blood transfusion. I didn't have any energy, all the things, right? And we talk about that being a big thing within the Black community. However, if you don't know, you don't know, right? So, ended up getting really, really sick, and finally was able to get insurance, which is what I'm dealing with and fighting with, honestly. Having insurance in Georgia is not for the faint of heart. If you know, you know. They don't really want to give you Medicaid or anything, especially if you don't have a traditional income. It is very, very difficult, okay? And so, you know, you are not supposed to be in here. You see this? You see this little puppy right here? You see him? His name is Tom Tom. And he know he is not supposed to be in this kitchen. Why are you in here? Out. Out. My mother does not want him in here. And he know better. He just be playing. But anyway. So, what was I saying? So, with me having the iron deficiency and all of that, things got really bad really fast. And so, I didn't have the insurance. I was working as a leasing agent, which I really, really loved. However, things happened that I will speak on at another time, and I was wrongfully terminated, in my opinion, and in others as well. But it's okay. It was all God's will, and I'm okay with it now. Well, I'm not going to say it was God's will, but you know what? All things work together for good, right? Amen, amen. So in my insurance lapsing and things like that, I needed to find another alternative. So I ended up getting insurance that I could afford at the time. And then, you know, so I was able to go to the doctor. Thank God I was able to get all of that stuff done. And then come to find out, I did need iron infusions. My primary care doctor told me since my iron levels had went up 0.5%, I didn't need them. I ended up having to go to a hematologist, and she was like, no, sweetie, you need them. And she fought for me to get the iron infusion. So I did that, felt a whole lot better after years of being an ice chomper, okay? I I no longer eat ice, which is, I know a lot of people are happy about that. My family, because, man, they hated it. They was like, oh my God, Takima, you're killing us with these ice. But yeah, so that's what I have been dealing with. So anyway, fast forward to, I want to say March. I was feeling like the Lord was saying, okay, it's time for you to go back to New York. And I was like, God, you cannot be serious. And I was confused because I was like, why would I need to go back to New York? And then, the more doctors that I needed to go see, because there were other things that they were starting to find. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I'm like, Lord, what are you really saying? What is really going on here? And when I started to hear that from the Lord, I said, there's no way you could be telling me to do that, because why would I go back to New York? Like what, but New York being the type of state that it is easier to get insurance, and, it would be more beneficial to have another opinion of how I needed to manage my health, right? And so I fought it. I fought coming back because I definitely did not want to have that. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave Georgia. I've been in Georgia for 8 years. I built a life there. I built community there, which is why I'm really excited about, the Safe Connection, because that's what it's about. It's about building the community that you need. When I first left New York and moved to Georgia, I didn't have anybody. I knew 2 people that lived in Georgia. They I don't know if the other person lives in Georgia, but I know one of the people live in Georgia. And I knew them. Those are the only people that I knew. And I fought moving because I was like, I only know 2 people. And I said, Lord, I need a village, And in me saying that, it took maybe 6 years for me to get the village. But God ended up giving me a village, and I ended up creating a village of people who were there for me, who have helped me, who have, prayed over me, prayed with me, prayed for me, have given me things, have, in different seasons of my life. Like, I've had different villages in those different seasons, and it was so instrumental to my move. And I'm just so grateful for them. And so I'm really, really excited about, what God has gifted me to do, because I was able to create that for myself. And so, yeah, so back to the story. So I was like, well, God, I don't want to move. And he was just like, well, this is not really a request, this is what you're going to do. And so after fighting it for a little while, and then after not being able to fight it, I ended up saying, okay, fine. I'll go to New York for a season. And so again, I packed up me and my baby, and we are now in New York. And I just wanted to touch on a couple things, specifically when it comes to you having to make decisions, like monumental decisions that impact not just you, but other people in your life, especially being a believer. In being a believer, when you have to make decisions, sometimes you don't want to make the decisions because of what it can do and how it can affect somebody else. But then that's when you have to ask yourself, is the person more important than my obedience to God? Right? And that was a question I really had to consider, right? Because I am in a relationship. I've been in that relationship for a very long time. And so that was something to consider. That was truly, truly something to consider, because I knew that person wasn't coming with me. So I had to really make a hard choice. Like, do I really want to do this? And what would that mean for our relationship, right? But at the same time, in me even considering, and then what if I felt like I didn't want to go? Would I sacrifice my obedience for an earthly relationship. And so you have to consider all things, but then you have to also ask yourself, if you are a believer. Now, okay, at this point I'm talking to believers because this doesn't apply to everybody, but it applies because those things have to be considered. But is that person more important than what you are seeking for yourself? Right? So that's one thing to consider. The second thing to consider is, what is on the other side of my move? What is on the other side of my move? Is it healing? Is it change? Is it the breakthrough that I'm seeking, that I'm praying for, that I'm fasting for here, and I'm not seeing it? But could it be that when I make this move, I will see all the things that I've been wanting, all the things I've been asking for, right? And so I had to consider that. And then the last thing I considered was, what is this going to teach me? I'm definitely a student. As much as I teach, I love to learn, right? I love to learn. And I had to ask myself, what is this going to teach me? And am I ready to learn it? Because sometimes we like to learn, but that doesn't mean we want to learn the lessons that we're supposed to learn, right? Let's be honest, right? So in considering all those things, I ended up getting on that. I took the train, y'all. I took the Amtrak. It was a long ride. But at the time, TSA was doing some nonsense, and I ain't had no time to be dealing with no airplane and stuff like that. So I just booked my ticket, and we got on that train, 18 hours to New York City. And I've been learning a lot. So I feel like I'm going to be doing a little bit of a series. If y'all up for that. Even if you're not, somebody will, and I'm going to be talking to them. But yeah, I wanted to share that. I hope that blesses somebody. And if it did, just say thank you. You ain't got to say, you could say thank you, but, just say, that was a blessing, put that in the comments for me. Okay. And if you watch the replay, put replay, and that blessed me. And, yeah, so I just wanted to share that. My phone is about to die, and I don't want to be on here and my phone dies, but this is how far I've gotten with the salsa. I got my garlic here. And then the last thing will be the lime. I got 6 minutes. So can I do that in 6 minutes without it cutting off? Ooh. Now it just went dark. All right, I'm going to get off here before it goes completely dark. But I just want to thank y'all for chilling with me. Those, like I said, those that will watch the replay, thank you. Make sure you put, if it bless you, if this live bless you, whenever you watch it, put replay and put this bless me. And I'll be back for another story time. Bye. Now I just don't want to cut off. Ain't that something?